Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Adrian, and I am one of the co-founders of the Indonesian Film Society, which is a group of volunteers committed to screening Indonesian films here in the UK, or perhaps with these online screenings, a wider audience as well. And we do this to, encourage discussion on, what we've just seen, both in relation to the films themselves, and also to issues connected to Indonesia and the Indonesian film industry in a wider sense as well. So I'm happy to say I've been joined by two of the filmmakers from the films that we've just seen in winner Wijaya and Azalia Muchransyah. We are also joined by Fransiska Prihadi, who is the program director for Minikino, an organization based in Bali, who curated these films that we've just seen. Made Suwabawa joins us as well. Made is the coordinator for the Begadang Film Making Contest, which these films were all made for. So I'm going to take this opportunity to give you a little break from listening to me. I'm going to invite each of our panelists just to give a brief introduction to yourselves, starting with Fransiska.
Hi, well, you can call me Chica, Adrian, and I have nothing to add besides like a call for all the filmmakers out there all around the world, also Indonesian, because we're having our call for submission for Minikino Film Week 7th edition. That's next year. We start early bird, so that's the cheapest. And if you're Indonesian, you can just ask for the waiver, through Film Freeway or Short Film Depot. And we're going to open submission only until April. And if your audience, you do probably want to book or find good deals to fly to Bali, 3 to 11 of September 2021. Hopefully the borders are open by then. And yeah, hope to see you there. Thank you.
Okay, and Made, if you could say a word or two about yourself.
Hello, my name Made Suwabawa, and my colleague call me Birus, and I'm with Minikino as a volunteer for about 17 years now, and yeah, now I'm the technician for this live show.
So yeah, for those of you watching, Made is actually multitasking right now. So as well as giving us these thought-provoking answers, he's also actually vision mixing all of us speaking now. So yeah, multi-talented. Azalia, if you could just say a word or two about yourself, that'd be great.
Hi everyone, my name is Azalia Muchransyah, and I'm the director, writer, actor, co-producer of Midnight Glitch that you just saw for Begadang 2020. And right now I'm in Buffalo, New York, finishing my PhD, hopefully, in media study at the University at Buffalo. Yeah, maybe that's it.
Cool, and last but not least, Winner, over to you.
Okay. Hi, my name is Winner. I'm the director of the last film that you saw, the film with the drone. And this is my brother, Rainer. He's the drone pilot for that film. Okay.
Excellent. So Winner's actually brought two filmmakers for the price of one. So you're all being treated today. On behalf of IFS, you're very welcome. Yeah, just to start off the discussion, I want to talk a little bit about the the rules of the filmmaking competition. So this is the Begadang filmmaking contest, which these films were all made for. And so to Made and to Chica in particular, the films that were made, the filmmakers had certain rules that they had to follow when producing these films. And one of the the conditions was that the films had to be made within 34 hours. So, you know, written, filmed, edited, all done within 34 hours. So I guess the first question really is, you know, out of all of the numbers that you could have chosen, why 34?
I'll prove to you that Made Virus is really multitasking because he's going to be the one that answered this one.
Okay, why 34 hours? Because, you know, we familiar with 24 hours. So we just use 4 in the end, but we give 10 hours actually for the post-production for the team. So we have 24 hours, you know, we have, the team can have the day scene and also night scene. So this will be complete in the story. So they want to shoot in the day or the night. And of course, then they have extra 10 hours to finish their film. That's and also we made the name Begadang. Then we decided 34 hours. We think 24, we think 40, we think 50, but 34. Yeah, we think that's a good one.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, as well as working with IFS, I also happen to be a video editor. So any, you know, further hours that can be given to post-production, I'm sure the filmmakers were all very thankful for that. And yeah, just for, you know, everyone at home, so Begadang, it roughly translates as, you know, staying up late. So I think that's very applicable to this competition as well, because I can imagine there wasn't much sleep involved when producing the films in that kind of turnaround. But yeah, I also want to talk a little bit, Azalia and Winner, about, you know, the films that you made for, you know, this collection. So Winner produced the film Hi Guys, Balik Lagi Sama Gue Tuhan, which, as he mentioned, was the last film that was seen, which was the point of view perspective of in a residential area in Indonesia, as narrated by God. And Azalia produced Midnight Glitch, which featured a young woman who wakes up, you know, to pour herself a glass of water, only to find what appears to be herself in bed. Yeah, I guess starting off with Winner, and then afterwards Azalia as well. If you guys could talk a little bit about, you know, what inspired you to make these films. You know, what was the filmmaking process like? You know, if you could just let us know, that would be amazing.
Okay. Because of the drill. So we've always wanted to make a film using drone. I used to hate drone in short films, because when there was the drone hype and everybody used drones just to show off their drones.
Look at me, I have drones, and he hated. So our dreams is to make, how about we make a movie with drones, only drones, and then Begadang make it come true.
So when we thought about what do we make film about, what do we make the film about, and drone shot from top view, point of view of God. Okay, maybe
that's nice.
Maybe that's relevant for today's Indonesian issue, because too many Indonesians believe in God and we're not. And we don't. So it's funny if we make the God a jerk. So the God is a really bad guy, like
you don't pray, you die.
like a YouTuber vlogger, very bad vlogger. Yeah. So that's all. That's it, I think.
So if I've understood correctly, you hate films that use drones. Mm-hmm. You don't believe in gods, and you thought, let's make a film which has both of those.
movie film which we hate.
Nice. And Azalia, how about you? You know, what was it like when you put together Midnight Glitch?
So 2020 is actually my second year of competing in Begadang, right? So I already had some kind of, you know, experience in 2019 making it. And actually in 2019, I used drone and I crashed the drone. You don't know about that. So, and it was my school's drone. So I thought, you know, no more crashing drones in 2020. You know, it's bad enough as it is. And so because of many of the restrictions, one is, you know, the pandemic, right? We cannot go outside, we cannot film outside. I cannot have as many professional tools, cameras and sounds and whatnot from the school. And we have very limited actors. Actually, it's just like between me and my husband, you know, actually what happened when we filmed that, because we have a flipped day and night, right? In Indonesia, it was during the morning. So we started filming at night. And when that happened, we heard the three restrictions, the 1 to 3 shots, and then the turning on of a light, right? And then there's another one, I forgot what it is.
Music, you cannot use instruments.
Yeah, the music should not be from any instruments, right? And so from those restrictions, I think it started to, you know, like I just have to make a story that is just like so simple that I can just, you know, shot it with just me and my husband. And so, okay, let's just do one character. And at first I thought it was going to be my husband acting. And then I kind of pitched to him the story before he went to sleep. And then he was like, oh, you do it. You know, I think he was just like so sleepy at that time. So he was asleep with, you know, my and then I put my son in bed, to bed, you know, and then after that, I just like went out and start decorating the set for that. And I was just like, waking him up and I'm like, okay, we're ready to shoot. And he's just like, what? You know? And then I said, yeah, this is like the only time that we can shoot this because, you know, our son is asleep and we are having like this story that is like happening in the middle of the night. And then we're just shooting it. And it was so funny because we had that shot with like the 360-degree shot. And we shot it with my phone actually. And so my husband, I think, because it was also in the middle of the night, he was still a little bit sleepy. So he kept on shoot it like 180-degree. And so like when we see the result of it, you know, I was like upside down, like half of the film. And I was like, no, we cannot use that. And it's like, just like fix it in editing. And I'm like, that's not how editing works. So we kept on like, you know, reshooting. And I think it was just like so funny because it's the film itself is a little bit like horror-ish, you know, but like when we were shooting it, it was like just so funny for the two of us. Yeah.
Well, it's encouraging to hear that, you know, despite, you know, the pandemic, that you guys are still able to, you know, go out there, you know, and make films, you know. And I guess sometimes having restrictions can also, as well as being a burden, I guess it sounds like it can also help, you know, focus you into thinking, right, I can't do this, I can't do that. And then, you know, it sort of clears the way to what you can actually do. So that sounds great. And yeah, I guess just talking a bit more broadly now about, you know, filmmaking in Indonesia. So a lot of the time, and this isn't just in Indonesia, across the world, it's very challenging to make feature films, you know, because, you know, one of the biggest barriers to that is having a budget to be able to actually, go out and make something. And so something that often happens is filmmakers will produce short films which effectively act as a calling card to eventually go on and make a feature film. So I guess a famous example of that in recent times is Damien Chazelle's Whiplash, which started off as a short film, did really well, and then ended up making a feature film and helped launch his career. So I guess what I want to hear from all of you guys on was within Indonesia, when filmmakers make short films and Minikino produce programs such as this, how does it help talented Indonesian filmmakers to go on and produce bigger and longer productions? So I'd like to hear from all of you on this, but I guess to get the ball rolling, Chika, I'm going to pick on you.
Oh, well, okay. So short film festival, international short film festival, local, national film festival is not the only answer to for filmmakers to have a chance to be highlighted. It's just a matter of which circuit or which network do you want to connect with. Like Minikino Film Week being annual and being Bali International Short Film Festival, and being connected with also other international short film festival in the circuit, that allows us to have a better positioning in a way that we can actually put Indonesian short filmmaker in the same level, not as if which one is higher or which one is lower, but it's equal and have equal chance to have the spotlight. And I think the festival believe that it has to be some sort of like a healthy ecosystem where we can also connect not just the cultural and creative side of it, but also the market side of it. And by saying market, is actually try to connect, not just to connect the buyer, let's so-called, like not so much buying of short films actually, but to be able to have producer or other film festivals, programmers to take a look at this pool of really, really good selection of filmmakers and films. I think is the most important role of a short film festival. I believe maybe from the filmmakers, they might be able to add on it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess Winner and Azalia, have you sort of found, what have your experiences been like in terms of making short films, and has that kind of led on to other things as a result? So Winner, I'm going to start with you first.
Okay. So this film got into FFI Festival Film Indonesia. It got nominated. Festival Film Indonesia is like the national award for films, and Mbak Jika is one of the selection committee. So it garnered attention, the film, and when we campaigned the film for your consideration campaign, it garnered much attention from netizens, from Twitter users, from Instagram users, and they reposted and they liked the post, and it got me connections to other filmmakers and other Twitter and Instagram users. So despite not being able to have offline festivals, we also got connections despite not being able to meet directly people at the festivals, like what I used to do last year. This film got me got some spotlight from people and got us new connections and friends. So it's good because I'm currently working on a feature film project. So I need as many as many connection that I can have. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Azalia, how about you?
Yeah, so I think I would also like to mention there are several things actually. Like, first of all, you mentioned Whiplash, and you know how good of a film it is, right? But I don't think every short film has potential for feature films, right? Because I think both have their own characteristics, and you know it depends on the story. Some stories work for feature, but some stories better work for short films, right? For me personally, because I'm a film student, you know, short films is actually a better choice because you know, it suits more with the assignments in school, and then at the same time, you know, I can have like lower pressure in like making them, right? So I can actually do more experimentation with techniques and with stories, you know. And I think with me personally, making films is not necessarily about making money, or like, you know, it's, I don't see making short films as like a vehicle to actually make like the real film or like the feature films or something like that. For me, short films has their own lives, and so it's just a matter of choices and the matter of whether or not the stories fit with this particular format, I think. And yeah, I personally like making short films because I like exploring different ideas. And again, it's like less pressure to to do so. And especially, you know, as a mother of a toddler, it's I think more feasible for me to make short films. And as Winner mentioned, I think Minikino is actually a really, you know, a perfect place to go to, and especially for Indonesians and you know, international filmmakers, because this year Winner's film got to FFE. Last year my film was also sent to and then got shortlisted. So I think it's also a very good a place to go, and very well connected, and you know, very well recognized as well. So yeah, that's probably my answer. I hope that answers it.
Yeah, very, very much so. Yeah, all of this, you know, it's really interesting. I want to touch on points that all of you, you know, have mentioned just now. You know, it sounds like from what you've just said, Azalia, that short films can actually offer filmmakers a chance to almost be a bit like research and development in some ways. You know, try out, you know, different things. You know, as we've, you know, mentioned, making films can be quite expensive, and so, you know, if you can test things out by, you know, doing things in a shorter, you know, version, then it can help for further down the line. But before I carry on, Made, was there anything? Oh, Chika, you've got your hand up. Very polite.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Me. Sorry. I just before Monday, I just want to add something. What you are doing now, you know, with Indonesian Film Society, it's really good. Minikino, this is our second time collaborating with Indonesian Film Society, and at first, I mean, of course, everyone is doing like physical screening. Like, why would we want to do online? We are hesitating, you know, to go online. But we got to adapt. But anyhow, my point is, when Indonesian Film Society, based in London, and then they offer to bring these Indonesian short films to be screened in London, and then got exposed and got discussion. That's really, really valuable, you know. And the amount of not just highlight, but it boosts the spirit. Like you say, you know, what do you expect from short film? You don't get paid to do it. Even to be screened, sometimes you don't get some screening fee, you know. So what you are doing is really important, and I hope a lot of more community or organization around the world is doing small things, but you know, consistent. That helps a lot. That's my additional.
That was the best interruption I've ever heard in my life. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, I mean, I think just speaking on behalf of IFS, there's just so much, talent out there, in within Indonesian cinema. So anything that we can do to kind of, support that and, showcase it, we're happy to help. But Made, was there anything that you wanted to add at all?
Short film, I think this is more like we see the cultural value, not like we see as like we think about a box office or something like that. Like Chika mentioned, we very proud when the film screen abroad, screen everywhere. I think in last screening, I involved in one film, the Tergila-gila, so that screen in London. So that's make us believe that we make a film not only just for having fun, but we hope it can be menginspirasi apa sih?
An inspiration.
Yeah, inspire people, or we have to. We also can just share the issue, a local issue, to the another people or to the audience. I think that's for me.
Yeah, that all sounds great. I'd just like to say, just for those of you who are tuning in, we are taking questions, in from, the audience as well. So yeah, we'll get to those. So please do, submit your questions for all of our panelists. In the meantime, I'm going to be greedy and ask a few more of my own questions first. Just going back to what you were saying, Winner, and also Azalia as well, about having been nominated for FFE awards. So it's for those of you who aren't aware, is the FFE like Piala Chitra awards are perhaps the largest, most prestigious filmmaking awards held annually in Indonesia. So it's essentially a bit like the Indonesian Oscars in some ways. And so I want to, just get, your thoughts on, how that's kind of helped, do these nominations and awards actually help you to go on and make things that you want to work on? Or is it just, a pretty award that, sits on the shelf? How do these things help you? Maybe Winner, if you just start.
It actually helped a lot because many festivals in Indonesia, many international festivals, film festivals are not well known to most Indonesians, and Piala Citra and FFE is the most known. So when I told people that, oh, my film got nominated in Piala Citra, and everyone got, oh wow, congratulations. If I told people, hey, my film is nominated in Minikino, oh, okay. Because not many people know other festivals, despite they're more international or something. So that that boost and that attention got me more well known. Like the name Winner Wijaya is more known now than like 2 months ago before FFE. And yeah, because of that, I can maybe got more help from people if I want to make other film. Yeah.
Oh yeah, winner Wijaya, nominated to FFP. Oh yeah, I know you.
Yeah, like that.
Right. So it helps you to become a bit more established, so that when you walk into a room, you're not a nobody. People have actually heard about you. You essentially have a bit more clout, I guess. And okay, and I want to sort of touch upon something that Azalia also mentioned. About short films and experimental short films. So this is a question, I guess, that I'd like to hear, Azalia, your thoughts on it, as well as Chika and Made, if you have anything to add to it as well, because I noticed that there's a presence of quite a lot of experimental and for want of a better word, sort of art house pieces within this collection of short films. So would you say that there is a demand for experimental films within Indonesia? If so, is it limited to short films only, or is there a market for longer films like this as well? So Azalia, maybe if you can get the ball rolling.
For me, I think this is actually very interesting, because it's just also touch upon the topic of my dissertation. Because as an Indonesian living abroad, I think I reflect more and more on like my upbringing and just like being Indonesian in general, right? So I think looking back, and especially living in the US in this era, in the 2020 Black Lives Matter a movement and whatnot is happening in the now, right? Like in the middle of the scene. I just think that experimental filmmaking is actually a way for people to talk about things that is like difficult to talk about, and especially as Indonesian, we have history of like being silenced by the authority, right? And I think art is like a way to actually talk about those things without maybe endangering or harming ourselves as artists. We can talk a lot about politics or any, and I'm sorry about the noise. My son just woke up. So talk about politics or things that there's just like so hard to talk about in the open. I think many films use like symbolism, for example. I think some films in the Begadang lineup also talk about those things, right? Like I think one of them talk about the 1965 killings without actually showing the actual killings. And so I think it's a vehicle to actually do that. Yeah.
Oops, sorry, just had to unmute myself there. That's fascinating, because I think from what you say, it sort of sounds like it maintains in some ways a bit of a tradition, like in terms of Indonesian storytelling, because I understand that a long time ago when people would do sort of puppet shows, there would be a lot of symbolism being used, rather than just explicitly saying so and so is corrupt, for example. So I guess in some ways it sounds like you're saying that sometimes Indonesian filmmakers are almost forced to be experimental in some ways, just to be able to safely convey a message through suggestion rather than just saying that. So that that's really interesting. And Chika and Made, was there anything else you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, well, the presence of highlight into experimental films at Minikino Film Week, for example, it started in 2017 when we start regularly, annually. Very happy to collaborate with Image Forum Festival. Image Forum is one of the biggest, the oldest, and one of the most important experimental film festival in the world, I think. They have one of the biggest collection, and since 2017, we have this guest program, and also have Koyo Yamashita, the artistic director, also came himself. Like 3 years in a row. It's just so unfortunate that he cannot come like this year, like for his year when he was part of the jury. But what we see is that when we put also like highlights into the experimental films, we kind of like reintroduce this form again. And it's actually like short film is the root of the cinema. And when it's experimental, you can be as free as possible. And it's really interesting when we're talking about Asian experimental films because it's very different than the Western. So what also then we came to realize, like, I mean, as festival, like me, for example, as program director, I started to then notice that we're missing something really important like archive, because when for other filmmakers in Southeast Asia start playing around with also like the medium films, we have nothing about it. We have like almost zero concern about it. Like very few people talk about archive. We are so behind Thailand, for example, or Singapore. So I think experimental films in a way is very, very important. And we will actually, Minikino will keep on introducing this form or genre and like to have more interesting films in the future, I hope, from Indonesian filmmakers as well.
That sounds great. Made, was there anything you wanted to add at all, or if
no, for now, just continue.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna force you to talk in a second anyway, Made, because I'm going to start asking some of the questions that we've received from the audience. So, the first question is for both Made and for Chika, and it is. Is there any particular development or change that you've seen from the submissions for this festival throughout the years? And, what's distinctively special with this year's submissions? So, Chika, did you want to start?
Yeah, I would probably answer for the general officially selected films, and I think Made will in specific answer about the Begadang Film Making Competition changes or developments. So this year, it's each year very different. We are very happy that this year, even though it's pandemic years, we still have the production from last year actually. So we are a bit concerned about next year actually instead of this year. That's why we actually keep an open eye and still accepting 2019 production for Minikino Film Week next year edition. But to answer what changes or what's new, well, unfortunately, I think I say unfortunately because some topic like human trafficking and like these people displaced are not as much as previous years, as if it's a trend, and for us it's a bit heartbreaking not to see it as much. We also don't really see a lot of animation, not as much as last year, for example. But we are seeing a lot of really good documentaries, and like not just documentaries, just experimental documentaries. Where fiction and documentaries became blur. So that is probably what changes. And this year we are opening up our submission through Short Film Depot. So instead of only Film Freeway like previous year, so that also opened up to more exposure to submission from North America, Latin America, Europe, and therefore make it really special for this Southeast Asian and Indonesian officially selected films, because hey, you are being considered as as like from the whole world, like even more than previous years. So I think that is the one that changed from the previous year. Maybe Made would like to add about Begadang.
Apa ya? Yeah, the film is like I think more better or more banyak yang berulang datang lagi, apa namanya?
There are a lot of repeating applicants.
Like Azalia they join again, winner, and many team also join in next competition. So I think it's it's good lah.
You know what changes, Made? I think Made forgot to mention that we have actually more people manage to submit their films like on time. You know, there's like 27, and it never happened before. It never reached over 20 usually. Like even 34 enroll, like because they have to submit their production team before the competition day. They usually only less than 20, but this year is 27. That's why we were like, oh, this is our first year actually putting up a like officially selected films. Usually we only highlight only 4 like nominated films, but since we have like so many good films, you know, and then we can do like this program, officially selected films. This never happened before, and we're very proud that you all did it. Pandemic year, you go, filmmakers.
Oh, that's amazing. So
we have question on YouTube.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, we've got a few coming in, so thanks for that, guys. But no, that sounds really interesting. So despite, you know, all of the challenges that 2020 has presented, it's actually growing in momentum, which is good to hear, which sort of ties into, you know, what Azalia mentioned earlier about, you know, still finding ways to make films despite, you know, there being the global crisis. So that's good. It looks like we've temporarily lost Winner, so hopefully his connection will kick in. But I've got another question which is aimed at Azalia and Winner. So Azalia, maybe you can start off first while Winner sorts out his internet. And the question is, how does someone start the production of a short film? So could you share some experience from, you know, when you made your first short film, and any advice that you might give?
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting and important question, right? Because I do believe that everybody can make film now, and especially because we have, you know, camera and microphone in the you know, form of our phone. For me personally, I started off with being a scriptwriter first. So how should I say it? I actually made like shorter videos, but never actually in the form of like real films, you know, but it was just like, you know, playing around with the tools. My father's, what was that? Like, was it mini DV, or, you know, it was just like cameras around the house and just like playing around with them back when I was in, you know, my undergraduate years. But I think my very first like real film was actually back in 2017 when I started my PhD program here. And it was a very interesting experience for me because it was a short documentary. And I made that film in my ethnography class. And it was so funny because I thought I knew it all, and then I started filming, and then I just like forget about the sound. I forget to just like bring my backup battery, you know. It was just like all of these wrong things that can happened, you know. And then my professor actually said, oh, it's like the christening, or you know, like you're officially a filmmaker now, like, you know, when you forget to turn on the microphone, for example, or like to forget to set up the lighting of, or something like that, you know, like everything that you should learn about filmmaking, you learn it from doing it, right? So you cannot just like read all of the filmmaking books out there and see as many film as you can. But I mean, that's also important, but you actually have to start doing it to actually know how to do it, right? And so I think it's very interesting also to see like the change for me personally for after making that film, is that I started to open up the possibilities to actually like give my own voice, you know. Like I was so hesitant to actually like you know, own my own story, you know, even though I'm a scriptwriter, right? Scriptwriter, I can always just like kind of make myself as a proxy of like the character. So I thought, oh no, it's not my story, it's like the character story. But you know, with this filmmaking, you know, and especially it's a personal documentary, you know. So I was like, okay, so I cannot just be behind the camera. Sometimes I need to be in front of the camera because it's my story and I need to own it. So I think it's also an important kind of I don't know, soul journey for me. Sort of, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that's a lot of good advice in there, but essentially it's just like go out there and do it. You know, it's like driving a car. You can learn how to drive it in theory, but until you actually are sitting in the front seat, you're not really driving, are you? Okay. So Winner, I can tell that you really are a filmmaker, because the suspense just now of wondering whether your connection would come back on time, it was unbearable. So I'm going to ask you a question which is directed to you while you're still here. So the comment was, love your film. Did you get any inspiration from Japanese films or culture in general, since there are several Japanese elements which could be found within your film?
Okay, so my computer just shuts down by itself again. Maybe my webcam is busted. Sorry, we switched into my phone. Japanese element. Do you mean the bread that?
So the first person that runs out from the door that are late, so he bites bread, a piece of bread. Yeah, that's a Japanese reference for you.
A slice of bread. I don't know what else, but yes, we do love Japanese films, especially films from director Shion Sono, Shunji Iwai, and others, and maybe from Kazuhiro Soda, documentary films. Yeah, we love Japanese films and cartoons, comics, every Japanese culture. Maybe, but I don't know if we're referencing Japanese film directly in our film. Maybe you can point which part that is referencing Japanese film, because we're not doing it consciously on purpose. Yeah. Yeah. But yes, we do love Japanese films. Thank you.
Okay. Cool. I'm just going to ask one last question from the audience, just because we're running out of time. So this one, it looks like it's geared towards Chika and Made. The question was, I find the prompts with the folding object and turning on the light scene weirdly specific and interesting in a good way. How did you come up with these, and how do you select prompts for each year, you know, if it's different? Chika,
This
maybe.
one, yeah, no. This one is Edo, the festival director, and Made. You know, they keep it even a secret to everyone. You know, like even last minute they can change it, so to make sure that no one, you know, is doing a dirty deal behind them. So Made, I'll be your interpreter if you need me, because you're the one that came up with that with Edo. Hey, Mike.
Made, you're to blame.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes the ideas come from we thinking about what element of filmmaking that can be improve the idea or improve the limitation of the challenge for the filmmaker. So we choose from many things, or even just last minute we think, oh, this something like this or something like that. Yeah, this is we think this is like a challenge, and also how to give real experience to maybe a new filmmaker, how the filmmaking is like, how they manage their team and how they manage their time. That's and the element, of course, it's a secret thing.
Yeah, but you know the nice thing about Winner's film as well is many films came out with a source of light. Always interpret it as a source of light, you know, lamp, you know, lighting. But Winner is the only one that interpreted as, you know, the whole universe, you know, the sun. You know, so it was really we were like shocked. Oh yeah, we didn't think of that, you know, like we didn't expect that one coming. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, so I think sadly, I think our time is you know, coming to an end now. But you know, I think it's been fascinating talking to, you know, all of you, from, you know, Azalia talking about, you know, the challenges that and limitations that you have, not just because of these, you know, the rules that Made and Ido mysteriously created, but also because of the fact that, you know, there is a global pandemic going on, but, you know, you're still able to make it. And as part of that, you know, you make experimental films, you know, as a result, and, you know, Chika and Made, you know, being able to, you know, offer a platform, you know, for these things to happen. And yeah, Winner as well, talking about, you know, how making these short films can, you know, help filmmakers to essentially have more of a name, you know, when they do go into meetings. And, you know, fingers crossed that that leads to, you know, bigger and better things moving forwards. And, you know, if you have to sacrifice yourself by making a drone film, despite not liking drones, then, you know, I guess that's something that you guys have to do. But yeah, just to kind of wrap things up, you know, as I say, this is hopefully the first of, you know, many online screenings that we'll be doing with the Indonesian Film Society. So yeah, if you'd like to, you know, keep up to date with our future events, please do follow us on social media. We're on Instagram. Our handle is at Indonesian Film Society, all as one word. We're also on Facebook at London IFS, again as one word. Do you guys have any sort of handles, or is there a good way if, you know, people want to reach out to you guys? Oh, just very quickly, I'll ask all of you. Chika, any way to get in touch?
Yeah, Minikino Film Week.
Minikino Film Week. Okay, I hope you guys are writing this down. Mada, is there any sort of contact, social media?
Minikino events. That's another social media of Minikino.
Okay, at Minikino events. And just Azalia, Winner, how can we reach you guys?
My Instagram handle is Winner Wijaya. Winner as in winner and Wijaya with J. And my Twitter account is Winner with 4 W's and 4 R's. So yeah, okay.
Okay, so Winner. Okay, and Azalia?
You can visit my portfolio, azalia.myportfolio.com, and you can contact me with the form there as well.
Okay, lovely. Right, so yeah, just once again, I'd like to thank, you know, all of our panelists for joining us from across the world. Azalia, I know you're in the US, you had to wake up extra early, so thanks for that. And yeah, thank you again to Minikino for, you know, collaborating with us once again, and, you know, showing, you know, these wonderful films. It's always a pleasure. And yeah, for all of you at home who've tuned in, you know, thanks a lot. You know, it really means a lot to us. So yeah, as I say, hopefully there'll be more of these things to come. So until then, have lovely weekends. Yeah, have a good one, everyone.